Welcome to Alex and Annie, the Real Women of Vacation Rentals. I'm Alex.
And I'm Annie.
And this is Chloe. Our
Oh, another mascot for the show.
Yay!
Hello, Chloe.
She says, "Hey, everybody. If you're not watching on YouTube, we highly recommend you go over to YouTube. Chloe is my new puppy dog that we got about 2 weeks ago, and she is 5 months old. She's a little Boston Terrier, just like our other 2, Beamer and Tito, that we have, and she is in mommy's office today, and I've got babysitting duties, so we figured we would introduce her to the show. And yeah, she's a lot of fun. Having a puppy is a lot of work. I forgot how much goes into it, but it's been awesome so far.
It's like having a baby.
It really is. I mean, like, you can't let them out of your sight. Like, it's a lot of
Right.
chasing around, but yeah, it's
Mischievous.
been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of
Oh,
fun.
she's precious. Well, we're happy to have her in the family. Another dog
Yeah.
is always welcome.
Exactly. So this is our March 1st, first of the month bonus episode. I know we say this every month, but it's hard to believe we're now in the third month of 2024. It feels like we were just at Christmas the last time that we recorded this, but
Yeah.
years flying by. So we wanted to start by just kind of wanted to get your thoughts, Annie, and just kind of what I'm hearing in my market here in Myrtle Beach and from some other companies. But I think a hot topic right now is, what's going on for pace and, how the year is looking in Myrtle Beach market. I've heard as low as 10% down and as high as 20% down. And, here we had a 55% increase in listings on Airbnb in 2023 alone. So
Wow.
a lot of people that if that has been their only strategy for bookings are just really starting to see the effects of that. But curious what you're hearing. I mean, you've got partners all over the country and world, but
Yeah. So I think it's similar, probably about 15% on average. So again, right kind of in the middle of what you're hearing. And again, a lot of the markets, Panama City Beach, they had a 50% increase in inventory. I think the largest two that I know of in the US were, I think that it was in Texas and the Phoenix Scottsdale market. They had over 100% increase in inventory. And so again, there's not any more people traveling. And now that the
right.
international markets open back up, cruises are back online. I think that there's more even spread of people traveling. They're not going specifically to just domestic markets. So I think it was expected. But to your point, the people that have, as you said, they built their land or their house on someone else's land, as far as
Yeah.
using Airbnb only. I mean, they're in a spot now where they're competing against over a million listings.
Yeah.
And now that Airbnb is really focused on kind of that co-hosting, and still don't understand how that all works, but the co-hosting, it muddies the waters, and it's just not, for each market to try to put a plan together. If you're only dependent on one channel, then you are just going to be in a bad state if you don't figure something out pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's all about diversification, I think, at this point, and focusing on the things that you can control. So looking at your past guests, your email list, what you're doing for PPC, for SEO, for, Facebook ads, retargeting, really looking at that strategy. And I've got to speak with a lot of companies lately, some big, some small. And I think the hard thing is for these smaller managers is they know they need to do all those things, but you can't if you're starting out or smaller, it's not probably possible to do them all at the same time. But I think the advice that I've been, giving most recently is get one of them, start doing one of the direct booking initiatives and do it really well, and then start adding things in as you go, as it makes financial sense. So a lot of these operators too, I mean, the bulk of the money is made June, July, and August if you're in a beach market. And these aren't the months that it's easy to, shell out a bunch of cash when you don't actually have revenue really coming in. So that's a tough thing too. But just got to get creative. I mean, use the lists that you have and the guests that already know you. That's going to be your best source of, driving your own business and, really be able to just wow them with the guest experience so that they remember to book with you when they come back.
Yeah, I think, again, a lot of people got in with a false sense of how this business actually works because they were riding the high wave, and now it's back down to, again, normal, what we would consider normal levels. I don't know that there's any normalcy at this point, but,
Yeah.
we have to understand that there's not any more people traveling, and you've
Yeah.
got twice as many, rentals in most markets. Like you got to be able to stand out. And the way to stand out is with service. And the way to stand out is not just by being on Instagram and having a flashy, a flashy I guess,
Bentley.
Instagrammable moment. Yeah, yeah, Bentley, my favorite. I do think that, there's a lot to be said for getting people's attention and having that, again, that clickable, that clickbait moment on your social media, but is that
Yeah.
sustainable? Is that gonna drive occupancy? No, probably not.
Yeah.
It's gonna attract people, but if they're not converting, then you're wasting your efforts.
Yeah, and one thing that I've noticed too is that, I keep asking people, okay, for the Airbnb bookings that you're getting, are you getting their email address? One, and two, how are you getting it? And I've heard from some, they say, yes, we send them our rental contract, which that has, the place that they have to enter their email. And my next question is, okay, well, what are you doing with those emails? We actually aren't sending them anywhere. They're just in those rental contracts. So
Right.
you really got to be looking at those things of like, okay, what is that strategy? Because that is definitely the lowest hanging fruit of being able to collect that guest information, whether you're doing it through a rental contract or reaching out to the guest over the phone before they arrive or in the home, but really thinking that process through from start to finish of like, what is the end goal? And, being able to step through all those different points to get there.
Yeah. I think one thing that we've talked about kind of feel like it's a dead horse we've been beating for the last 2 years we've been doing this show is that there's just so much lack of knowledge that's out there. And so many people don't know where to get the knowledge. And then there's people that are providing incorrect knowledge. So
Yeah.
I think that actually segues into the next topic we want to talk about was the conferences. Like we're getting ready to start into spring conference season. And that's a great source of information. It's a great source to network with other people, but I do recognize that not everybody can go to every show, but if you can be engaged and at least join an association so you can participate in the educational opportunities that they have outside of the conferences, I think that's important and people need to be mindful of that. And I would say to everybody, if you see somebody in your market that's opened up a new business, don't look at them as a competitor that you want to brush aside. Go help them because the more you help them and the more you direct them to the right information, the better operator that they're going to be and a better steward they're going to be for the business. And so I think that helps us avoid some of those pitfalls of the regulations that are popping up in some markets because some operators just don't know what they're doing. So, on the topic of conferences, we've got the spring season starting up. So, I think the first up on the agenda is Spring Verma. Well, the Spring Verma in Paris. They're trying to resurrect the European conference. I hope it works out because one of the things that we've talked about is they don't have a good footprint in Europe. And I know, like,
Mhm.
again, talking with a lot of the contacts that I work with and some of my team members that are in Europe, they don't see Verma as a strong association. So I think there's a lot of work to be done there. Obviously, we want to help with that. But then we have the Spring Forum that's going to be in New Orleans. And we've got the Northwest VRP that's going to be out in Boise, and then the Verma Executive Summit that's going to be down in I think Palm Beach this year, right?
No, it's in Boca Raton.
Boca
Yeah,
Raton. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, you'll be
Yeah, look,
attending that, right?
I will, yeah, I won't be at the European one, unfortunately, wanted to make that work, but not going to make it this year, but, definitely at Spring Forum and the Executive Summit, so definitely looking forward to both of those events, and it will be different for me this year being there as just Alex, just as me,
Just
not with a
Alex.
company, with my own business, which is gonna be exciting and just looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think it'll be a great opportunity for you to network on a whole different level, though.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And that's, probably a good segue to, kind of talk about a little bit about what I've discovered in this past month of, what this new chapter looks like. And I'm really excited. I mean, this past month, just meeting with potential clients and some that are moving forward as clients and just, seeing what I knew was an issue out there. Companies that they don't have anybody in marketing or they might have people in marketing, but they're just not asking their suppliers the right connections and putting together really, the direct booking flywheel approach that I used for many years at Condo World. So I'm really excited to start working with these companies and, get them on that better path that we talked about of, building their house on their own land and just having that, 360-degree strategy of, we're not just, the goal should never be to just maintain what you're doing and not check the boxes of, yes, you're doing SEO, yes, you're doing PPC, yes, you're doing content. There's a bigger picture there. And I think, the brands that do well in our space, Moving Mountains always comes to mind, Robin Cragen's company. They really have an approach that they're connecting all parts of their efforts in a way that is cohesive and is, really distributing content well and making sure the brand is at the forefront of their efforts. I think a lot of companies right now, as far as their marketing is concerned, they're really focusing on the properties, and I know that sounds crazy because, of course, that's what we're doing. We're renting properties, but people go on vacation for the experience that they have, for the memories that they're making with their friends and family, and I think that really gets lost in translation. And with so many properties now on these different listing sites, it can be easy to just, go that route of, okay, I'm going to show a pretty beach, I'm going to show a pretty property, and that's what I need to include in my emails and in the different marketing I'm doing. But our approach when I was at Condo World for those 13 years was really to build an emotional connection with our guests, and we did that by putting our guests at the forefront of our marketing, and just some really cool strategies with that I don't think enough companies are really utilizing. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I've had a great time so far, and just excited to see where this journey goes.
Yeah, I'm super proud of you. So it's a big step. I know it was a, kind of a leap of faith, but it's a leap in the right direction. And it goes along with, kind of where we've focused the show on is trying to educate people and get people to go to the well and drink, get
Mhm.
down there and get that information and not think that this is a passive business. And people are starting to learn just how not passive it is. And I think that they do have to spend a little money and they do have to spend a little time paying attention to more of the details of just, setting up the property. There's so many more parts of the business that I think people took for granted that could be automated, or maybe that if they got the right technology, it would be an all-in-one solution. And that's just not the case. You can't do things a set it and forget it mentality with anything from marketing, for distribution, for revenue management. And I think you've uncovered some of the pitfalls of that mindset. And
Mhm.
people are going to be very fortunate to have you come in and kind of help them dissect that. And along with you, there's some really great women leaders in the business that have kind of stepped into this space of the fractional kind of C-suite leadership. Michelle Marquis, we've got Dawn Yaskolski, Rebecca Lombardo, and Jen Ford. And you guys are all offering very different pieces of knowledge that people typically wouldn't be able to afford. So I think it's going to take some of these smaller businesses that want to expand and grow, give them the right path and right footprint to be able to do that with. So I can't wait to see how it all works out. So I know we're going to follow that journey throughout the year and have the behind the scenes, the wins, the losses, the sideways movement, all the things that could possibly happen. We're going to share them with everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully there's more wins than losses.
There will
But
be way more wins.
yeah, for sure. And one thing that I've noticed too, a lot of companies, when you ask them about what they're doing for marketing, they go straight to, well, I'm doing this homeowner acquisition, I'm doing this. And it's like, when you're really doing marketing well, you're not just doing homeowner marketing, you're not just doing guest marketing, but the brand is what kind of elevates all of that together. So then you're able to do all of that, but you want to obviously make yourself the most well-known and most respected player in your market, and there's a lot of different ways to do that. But that ties in the guests, that ties in the owners, and it just really forms a cohesive approach that you're not looking at things in silos necessarily, but you're focused on what the long-term growth plan is of that business. So it's going to be fun. I think in some of these opportunities I'm engaging in, so it's marketing, but it's also it's business growth. I mean, it's different strategies for partnerships and things that they can be doing that are going to leverage them in a way that their competition, maybe isn't doing. I am very much a firm believer in how important and how effective it can be to be the first mover in a market on things. That was definitely something that was ingrained in me very early on
Yeah.
from Roy at Condo World, and, being the first mover, but also knowing at the end of the day, we had to track everything down to the penny on where our marketing was spent and where it was then generating online and phone revenue. And Roy's joke always was that ROI was just another way of spelling his name. And, I learned so much from that. And I think, the tracking side of things within our industry is really, it's pretty lackluster. If you get $10,000 in PPC bookings and you spent 5,000, well, you're not making $10,000. So you really have to be looking at the gross profit per booking on the different sources that you're using in your advertising. And when you see that things are working and they're coming back and they're turning into very profitable efforts, then that's when you can start adding in different things and more opportunities. So really excited to be able to connect the dots for these companies and show that pathway to profitability. Simon Lehman, our
I
good
mean, so
friend, always
yeah.
says, yeah,
Yep.
the profitability is the lifeblood of this industry. And it's just super important to be always keeping an eye on that.
Yeah. So I'm, again, super proud of you. I'm excited to see where this goes. I know that you probably have more people wanting you to work for them than you could probably handle at this point, but you'll do great things.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. Super excited.
Attention property owners and hosts. If you want to keep those 5-star cleanliness ratings soaring and your guests smiling, listen up. Introducing Turno, your ultimate solution for simplifying and automating the entire cleaning management process. Say goodbye to the hassle and hello to high quality, timely turnovers that guarantee those top rated guest reviews.
With Turno, you can automatically schedule, manage, and pay your short-term rental cleaners, ensuring a seamless and efficient operation.
And here's the best part. Turno's Cleaner Marketplace boasts over 55,000 vetted short-term rental cleaning pros ready to elevate your property management game.
Turno lets you manage cleaner performance with features like auto scheduling synced directly to your booking calendar, auto payments, photo checklists, problem reporting, and even inventory management.
But that's not all. Keep your cleaner communications organized with centralized chat and photo sharing, all in one convenient place. Plus, they've made on-the-go management a breeze with separate mobile apps tailored for both hosts and cleaners. And just in case you need a lifeline, Turno's live 24/7 customer support is always at your service. Because at Turno, they're not just a platform, they're your partner in success.
And there's a special treat for the listeners of the Alex and Annie podcast. When you try Turno and its Cleaner Marketplace, you'll receive a $150 Amazon gift card exclusively as our thank you to you.
So here's how it works. New users can sign up at turno.com/AlexNannyPodcast. Search for a cleaner in your area, connect with one or more, and then complete a marketplace cleaning. Once you see how easy and simple cleaning management can be, you'll love how much time and money you save, not to mention no more cleaning headaches. Now back to the show.
So, other things that we're excited about this month, we've got a great lineup coming. We are recording the OGs of the Panhandle, which I know this is near and dear to your heart, Annie, and we talk about this often as well. That so many great minds within our space, grew up within this business down in the Florida markets, and in particular in the Panhandle. And this one panel that we're going to be hosting, if we can keep everybody in line, I'm not sure. We've got Jim Olin and Lino Maldonado.
Steve Karen.
And Steve Karen, that's right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I drew a blank there. And we've had all three of them on the show and have known all three of them for a long time. But just to hear their thoughts on how much has changed in the industry over the last 20, 30 years that they've been in it, and their projections for the future. I mean, they've been in this for a very long time. So excited to get their thoughts on the current landscape of this crazy business we're all in.
Yeah, no, that's gonna be a good one, and like you said, it is near and dear to me. The Panhandle is my home, and I grew up in this business here, and it's just amazing to see what they've all accomplished and moved on to. But I think that at the core of them, they all have good gut instincts on the way the business should be, and it's really I always enjoy their take on stuff, and
Yeah.
it should be an entertaining interview.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we've gathered the judges from the Darm Battleground. We're calling this the Battleground Baddies. So we want to get the judges' take. We've got Julie Bird, Travis Wilburn, and CJ Stam. They're going to be coming together to share their thoughts on the new technology and different things that were revealed during that battleground, and their thoughts on it. So that's going to be a really fun one as well.
I love to hear because they're all very different operators and
Mhm.
working in very different parts of not parts of the business, but different regions. It's interesting to hear like how they came up with their questions because I thought their line of questioning was really thoughtful in terms of asking ones that if you were an operator just starting out or someone who had been in the business for a long time, it really covered all the spectrum of questions that somebody should be asking. So that should be really good. And then the next one I'm really excited about is the David Meltzer. I know we've been kind of teasing that for a little bit, but that was your on the heels of your visit to him, his mind. What was it? Mind King? What
Mas
did they call it? The
Mastermind.
mastermind. I
Yeah,
don't know why I can't.
yeah.
Mastermind doesn't roll off the tongue. But on that, and just to really finally meet him because he's a really interesting guy, and I think one of the things that I really love to watch about him, and after you told me about your visit, was that, he really wants to provide a community for people to support each other, and that's his thing, is just everybody asking how they can help and how they can be of service, and I think that's really important. It's not just a self-serving message that he's putting out there, and it's really great to see that you were able to participate in that and obviously meet the people that you did. And I'm just really excited to hear his story and how he came up with this program and how he's become this powerhouse that he is today.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's gonna be great. I mean, I've listened to his content for the last couple years now, and it really speaks to me on a lot of levels. But I mean, he's all about authenticity at the end of the day, and like you said, I mean, asking or how can you help somebody, and just teaching the people that are part of these masterminds, like ask for help. And I heard a different perspective on this over the weekend that really resonated with me. That a lot of people are shy to ask for help, but when you do ask for help, it's almost like whoever you've asked for something or just for insights or wisdom or ways to avoid the dummy tax, as he calls it,
Mhm.
they become invested in your success, and that is a really powerful thing. That if you've helped somebody, one, it feels good helping people, and
Yeah.
they want to see you succeed, and if they can share some insights and knowledge with you that are going to get you there faster, you've got somebody else in your corner that's rooting for you. And I think that just the energy that concocts is really a powerful thing. I mean, David ran the number one sports agency, Sports One Marketing, for several years with Lee Steinbrenner. The movie Jerry Maguire was about his sports agency back in the day. So he's among the likes of a Gary Vee or these mega influencers that just have these incredible networks. And we've got to meet so many cool people through him so far. He's connected us with Claude Silver, who is the Chief Heart Officer, CHO, for Gary Vee Enterprises, which she's going to be coming on our show within the next couple months also. And just people that I never would have been connected with if I hadn't, been invited to that event and said yes and just took the leap of faith of I'm going to do it, and it was so worth it. So that will be a fun one and kind of outside of the industry. But one thing we have noticed is that a lot of the topics that really resonate with people on our show are about those types of things, more about personal development and mindset. And it's so important because I mean, you can have the best business in the world, the best marketing, the best revenue management, but behind that is the leader of that company. And it's so important to be continuously investing in yourself and just being in the right frame of mind to be able to grow your business and your family and just and be happy. At the end of the day, it's like we all only have so much time, and it's really important to make sure that you're taking care of yourself.
Yeah, and I think it speaks to, like, where we are in our careers and our lives, and we've realized, like, just surrounding yourself with people that, feed your energy, give you good energy, just makes all the difference in the world. And so, again, super excited to hear his story and learn more about his enterprise or his media.
Yeah, I mean, he's grown. I mean, he has the podcast, but he has
Yeah,
books. I mean, he does these masterminds. He's got coaching programs, and he's really turned it into a true media company. So a lot of
yeah.
different things he's shared with us, and things and strategies for how we can grow our show, and just excited to learn more about that. But other different things we've got going on. Speaking of the media company, so we are in the very final phases of putting together our sponsorship program for the podcast for 2024, which include a few different things in the sponsorships and different opportunities for companies. We had a great time down in Florida about 2 months ago where we did the on-site activation with the 38 Beach Girls and
Yeah.
with Michael James. We want to be able to do more things like that where we're able to go out and meet these managers and different ways for the suppliers that are really the technology and the driving force behind these companies that are helping them being able to grow, just being able to share those stories and those successes. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So we are finishing that up, super excited. And last but not least, also we've got the Breezeway event, Breezeway's Elevate conference that
Yeah.
I've never been to it. Have you ever been to it before?
I have not. I've often seen them talking about it, and I've just seen the recent post, and they've
Yeah.
really put together a good collection of a good section of the industry. A lot of again, good minds, good
Yeah.
leaders, people with really innovative ideas. I think they've done a good job putting that together. So I'm interested to see how it goes. And you got asked to be part of it, so that's very cool too.
Yeah, I'm hosting a panel about direct bookings, which is, what I love to talk about. And actually, we just had our pre-call this morning, and there's like over 2,000 people that come to this online
Oh
conference. So
wow.
it's huge. Yeah, I mean, like they've
Yeah.
done an incredible job with this. And just as we were talking about earlier, I mean, not everybody has either the time or sometimes the money to be able to go to all these conferences, and some people that just don't even know about them, which that's a whole nother issue. But it does make it a lot easier for some of these managers to be able to attend these really high quality content conferences. And for these suppliers like Breezeway, it just makes a world of sense to be able to connect their customers with information. I mean, Breezeway is a housekeeping and maintenance and task management app, but I'm talking about direct bookings, and there's a lot of other topics that are not just related to specifically what their app does, or their program. And I think it says a lot about them as a company and what they're trying to do to truly elevate the industry as a whole. So really excited to get to participate in that. And that's March 19th to the 20th. And so anybody can sign up to go to it. You don't have to be a Breezeway client necessarily, but I think that'd be one I'd put on the books if I was anybody listening. And we'll make sure to include a show notes, the link where you can register.
And that one's all virtual, correct?
Yep, all virtual. Yep.
Yep, yeah, and I had forgotten, I'm doing one next week, hostfully, we just had Margot on the show. They're
Yeah.
doing their connection palooza, I think, or integration palooza is what they're calling it, and it's of course, with the jackets, it's very, like, disco
Oh,
themed,
yeah.
but they've got a lot of different providers, they're doing some OTAs, they're doing some revenue management, some different providers that they connect with through the whole week next week, and so every day there's a couple different sessions and people will be presenting and have some trivia and it's going to be fun. I'm actually meeting with Frank to kind of set my session up, but it should be a good time. But I think, people are cutting back on the number of conferences that they're going to because they have gotten expensive, but that doesn't mean that there's not a lot of good content that's out there. And I feel like we will try to do a good job. And if we miss it, we want people to tell us, what things are out there that we can share and promote and make sure that, again, everybody has access to the information because they're whether you have one unit or 1,000, just because you can't go to a conference doesn't mean shouldn't be able to gain the knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's a huge industry, and there's a lot of the population within our industry that they, just don't go to these events. So anything like this, or Hostfully's event, where they can reach more people, I think are just really needed and very much appreciated within the industry. Let's see, anything else going on that we want to touch on today?
I don't think so. I mean, I think that's a lot for March. It feels like
Yeah,
we're,
yeah.
going into the third month of the year, and it's been the longest like 6 months that we've had, just
Yeah,
it's we
absolutely.
packed a lot into the first 3 months of the year. So,
We definitely have. We definitely have. And I
yeah.
think next month we're going to have some more exciting things to announce. So we're going to
Yeah.
look forward to that. And if anyone has any topics that you would like us to dive into this year, or in the coming few months, please reach out and let us know. We love doing these panel type episodes like the ones we talked about with the OGs and then the battleground. If anybody has any specific things or guests that you would love for us to interview, please reach out to us. You can go to our podcast, alexandanniepodcast.com, send us a message that way, or on LinkedIn. So we're really excited to, continue to keep delivering this content. And luckily we have not missed a Wednesday in 2 years. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. But until next time, everybody, thank you for tuning in, and we hope you have a great month. We will see you in April.